So welcome you all. There are people from various industries and a lot of students are also present here. So I would like to make this session interactive by giving some real-time examples as well as some you know related information which is needed for the students as well. So basically, let's concentrate on the application part of AML because there is a huge misconception among people that where exactly we use AI and ML because nowadays this has become a very catchy word. Okay, wherever you go, people speaking about artificial intelligence, people keep on talking about machine learning and all these advanced technologies. But there is a huge misconception relevant to the process, relevant to the method, or related to the conceptual learning of AML, because most of the people think that artificial intelligence is all about programming. So it's all about writing code and be good in coding skills. But actually AI is 80 to 85% is all about mathematics. Okay, if you're good in mathematics, you need not to be a computer science student, you need not to be a the one who know programming properly. You do not to be a coder to become excel in AI and ML, but you must understand the understand how to convert a real time situation to a mathematical representation. So that's all about machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we will also talk about the difference between what is machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, deep learning. There are other technologies which are more or less relevant to the same domain. So, but what is the core difference between all these things? We'll also talk about that. And we will also talk about a couple of examples of how actually AI is transforming the industries. Okay, not just about software industries, it's also applicable for so many other industries and even educational sectors and all other things. How that is basically being useful for multiple sectors out there. So we'll also understand that. And the best part of this meeting is we will talk about a real-time example. Okay, I'll just give you a very basic understanding of AML, probably with which you will be understanding where we can apply this in future as well. So we'll talk about an example which includes a proper coding and a mathematical representation and everything. Okay, even if you do not know how to code, even if you haven't coded in your life, but you will be able to understand this example because I want to make it so simple such that everybody would be able to understand. So before getting into it, as I said that being a businessman, I am more concerned about applications of it or industrial use of AML. So usually, if not AML, in general, any technological development or any product making or any service providing has to go through four filters. Okay, so those four filters are these four filters. As you can see, there is we cannot say that one of the things are having less priority. So we must focus on all the four things in a equal way, because if you want to develop a product, you must understand all these four things clearly. The very first step has to be prototyping. Okay, this is a lean method. Okay, the method which I'm telling you is a lean method. So there are two ways you can build a product. So if one is a conventional method where you will be having a product, you will be investing on the product. Okay, you will be doing work, and or you will be asking for investments from people, and you will be putting a lot of money into it. Then you will start picking up the brand or doing other things. That is the conventional way of doing business. And there is one method called as lean method. Okay, where you will be not putting much of economical power or energy into the product directly, but you're basically going with the trial and error method. Basically you're just checking out and you keep on improving the product continuously. So I am letting you know about what is the meaning of lean method in this case. So here what we are doing, basically we will consider a product. Let's say I am interested in creating a product called as X. Okay, so X is a very large thing because it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time for me to develop a product and go for the market. So what I do, I will instead creating a product, I will create a small prototype of it, a small prototype version of the entire product, and then I'll start researching on the sales. Okay, I'll check whether the people are interested in it or not. Because what happens, the very big issue with the entrepreneurs or maybe any startup companies is that they think their idea is viable. They think their idea is the ultimate. So they would not know that whether it is useful for the society, it will be useful for an individual out there. So they keep on putting more and more efforts into it, which might turn out to be a wrong decision at some point of time. So instead taking up the situations into that scale, we will create a small prototype, okay, without putting a lot of energy into it. So we'll create a prototype, then we will check the market requirements, okay, sorry, market believes on that product, whether the sales might happen in the future. If you're okay and confident enough, then you will go with the UA and UX, which is user interface and user experience method. So where you will be basically understanding which might interest the user, which might be helpful for the user, okay, because sometimes what happens, you might create a product, you think that that product might be having one application, but you end up getting hundreds of other applications in the same product. So there are so many examples for that. Similarly, experience and interface, okay, interface is also very important, that how user would be able to contact or get in touch with your product, whether they are interested in that interface or not. So that comes under a very important stage as well. Then goes to the research and development. So we will not put our efforts directly into R&D. We will do all this process which is before R&D. Then we will put our interest, or maybe efforts, or maybe economical energy or physical energy, whatever the things you have as a company or as an individual, into the research part. So I will take these 4 steps and I will try to give an example which is relevant to our topic. Okay, how do you basically create a prototype of your product in AI and ML, and how do you start doing sales and market? Okay, then what is the method of creating UI and UX? Then what is the method of creating your entire product using R&D mechanism? Then comes your actual product. So now if I break down those points to 3 different points, there are 3 stages of your product making. One is ideation stage, then there is the simulation stage, then there is a creation stage. So as you can see, ideation stage is all about just concentrate on the problem which you have. Okay, because if you're not able to solve a problem, a particular problem, your product might not be that much feasible for the society, feasible for an individual out there. So you must concentrate on the product problem side first, then do not jump onto the creating the product. So there is one intermediate stage which is very important, which is simulation. I was talking about simulation earlier, which is all about prototyping. So you create with the minimal resources, then check results. If the results are giving fruitful outcome, then go for the creation, go for the taking up an equipment and jumping onto the points, okay, jumping onto taking up the people, recruiting people, hiring people, or doing all the things later. So let's not directly jump onto this thing, because you will be already simulating it and you have got the confidence saying that yes, this product might be useful for the industry. So we will also concentrate on these 3 different stages while we are talking about it as a business angle. Okay, now we will talk about the session today, okay, where we are concentrating on and what exactly we will be understanding. So we will be probably dividing the sessions into 2 different categories. Okay, we'll take a break after half an hour or 45 minutes, then we will continue for the other stages, which might be about question and answers. And if you have any relevant questions related to your own industry, okay, and if you are thinking of putting up or creating an environment of embedding your AI and ML into your own industry, you can put up questions. I'm very much happy to answer those questions as well. So coming to the today's content, okay, we'll talk about the introduction, which we already did probably. Then we will go for the applications, okay, where we are probably using AI and ML as of now. Okay, and there are applications which cannot be even imagined as as per the day, but there are so many other innovations or methods we will be applying AI and ML, but we'll talk about very few of those. Then we will talk about some technical details, okay, how actually this thing works, okay, what is the origin of it, okay, how we will we have come down to a stage of creating intelligence to the computers. Then we will talk about different technologies. As I said, that there are machine learning, deep learning, data science, AI, okay, what are all the differences between these things? Because next time when you hear these words, you shouldn't get confused and you shouldn't say that yes, all these are similar. So we'll talk about the differences between all these technologies as well. Then I'll also let you know that what kind of prerequisites you must have. Okay, because most of the people who come to me saying that, "Okay, I'm very much interested in these domains because I have gone through these things, and these really fascinates me, but I am not really able to get into it because I'm not belonging to a computer background, or I haven't did any coding in my life. Okay, will I be actually able to do anything on my own, or will I be able to learn these without getting into the conventional way of learning things?" So I will talk about those prerequisites as well. Then very much interesting question for most of the students as of now, about career. Okay, how career is going to be if you're jumping into this A&ML. What is the future of A&ML? And as of now, how, why companies are hiring A&ML in people out there, and what is the salary package and all the other things as well. Then end we will talk about the flow, which is like, if you're willing to get started with A&ML, what is the very first step you should take up, and what is the method you should go ahead with. So we'll talk about all these things. Before getting started, as I said, that we will talk about the artificial intelligence applications. Okay, so now you might ask me that, yes, where is AI as of now? Am I really looking at AI in my day-to-day life? So probably the answer is yes and no, because it's not yet completely full-fledged into our day-to-day life, but actually you can expect AI to be there with you under 5 years, because every single equipment as of now we are using is embedded with AI. If you open your camera, let's say if you open your mobile phone, you have camera with the face recognition method. So the way it recognizes face is obviously a part of AI, which is known as computer vision, which is a branch of artificial intelligence itself. So now you might be asking me, like, how a computer would be able to understand that this particular face is my owner's face. Okay, let's say I have my mobile phone, I have captured it, I have given my face as a face lock, then it will be automatically opening it up when I am actually putting in front of my face automatically, without having any issue. So like, you might be wondering about what is happening behind it, but when you get to know like the technical details, you will simply understand the method from A to Z. So it will be very much interesting. And the reason why AA is so much fascinating, why AA is so much interesting, why AA is very much enthusiastic about, we are very much enthusiastic about AA, is that the elevation in the technology. Okay, it has changed rapidly, it has changed exponentially. Okay, earlier we never used to know any kind of real-time applications of AI in our day-to-day life, but today we have been looking at AI every single day. Now we have cameras. Now let's say we have worked on a project for Indian Army for one of the AI camera requirements. Okay, sorry, I forgot to introduce about myself. So I'm Hari, I'm CEO and co-founder of Tikian Technologies. So we have been working with so many products and services. We are also into educational sector. We are also into industrial sector for automations as well. So we have been closely working with Indian Army. We are working with the government of Telangana as well. We did so many prototypes. We are in process of doing some AI relevant products for government as well. So we are into research and development as well. And today, as I was letting you know, that there is a camera which we have built for one of the Indian Army requirements. So in that camera, what we embedded is that we have embedded an automation system, where if you're having any particular product or any particular object placed on one place for constantly for certain time, let's say 15 to 20 minutes, then it will give an automatic alert system, will be passed to maybe a head of that group or whomever it could be. So what we did in that case is that we took a camera feed, which is a live camera feed, and we started observing all the objects, all the pixels in that image frame. And if you see any pixel which is relevant to the pixel which is of 15 minutes ago, then we will simply give a alert system. We will create an alert to the respective people whomever is authorized to take the access. So it's very much simple, but the applications are very dynamic. So that led us to create a lot of other applications with the similar method. So there is one more similar method. If you take up an image or take up a video, whether you might create a small game with that. Okay, for example, we talk about a game called as statue. Okay, if you say statue, then one person will stand there, idle. They'll not move here and there, right? They stand there. So if you create this particular application as a mobile application, so you will simply put up that mobile phone over there, and if a person moves even a bit slightly, then it will automatically give an alert saying that this person is eliminated. The reason being, we are creating the same mechanism, okay, which we used to do for the other applications. So that is what happens in the real time applications of AI as well. So we might create AI for one application, we might create an application, but it might be useful for so many other things. Now we are in process of developing that game, which will be useful for statue or maybe whatever the game name it is. So we'll be using that for multiple other applications as well. So there are so many such instances that we will be using application. We might think that this will be useful for one industry, but we will end up taking it for so many other applications as well. So we are looking at AI on our day-to-day life, but you must understand which is AI and which is not AI. Okay, you must understand the differences between those two. So we'll talk about that more. So as you can see, these are some of the applications as of now. So we have been looking at virtual personal assistances. Okay, I think you've heard of Google Voice or Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa. Okay, I used to work with Amazon Alexa earlier. So, and if you talk about Siri, all these are the assistants, okay, which understand your voice, and it will also understand your requirement, and it will let you know that how they will be able to help you out. So that comes under virtual assistants, as you can see here. Then there is one more thing called as natural language processing. Okay, so when I'm talking to you, you have been looking at so many other applications that when I'm speaking to you, automatically there will be a created subtitles coming down. So if you, even in the Zoom application as well, so you will be able to create the subtitles, you will be able to create the notes directly. When I'm speaking to you, it will automatically create the notes based on the time scale as well. So imagine how beautiful it is if I'm speaking to you and you did not hear me properly, but you will be able to store that data as a text form, and then you can clearly refer it in the later case. So that all is possible because of natural language processing. So we have learned about, we have seen deep learning in our day-to-day applications as well. So I'll tell you about what is deep learning. We'll talk some, so we'll take some examples about it as well. So then simulating, and there are other parts of artificial intelligence such as IoT as well. Okay, we are embedding robotics and artificial intelligence come together to form a lot of great devices which are still in progress. Then there is graph analysis, audio analysis, visualizations. As you can see, there are so many things. Image analytics. Now I was giving you an example of static object detection. Okay, the project which we did is called a static object detection. So it will be able to detect a static object, which we will give it for, let's say, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It will be able to automatically understand. Then that is a part of image processing, or you can call it as image analytics. Okay, we use computer vision as a tool to develop such kind of thing. And we also work with social robotics, which is social network analysis. Or now you might be wondering what happens when you open your YouTube. Okay, when you open your YouTube, what happens? You think that I will be staying there for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I would like to watch a simple video and I'll come out of it. Or you may be going for the shorts and all other videos. So what happens in YouTube is that you will think that, I mean, you probably would have thought that I will be there for 2 minutes, but you end up being there for 2 hours. Okay, how it is even possible? How somebody would be able to make me stick for YouTube for 2 hours? Or you can take an example of Instagram or Snapchat, or you can take up an example of any other platform, any other social platform. They know what you're interested in. They know which video might excite you. They know with which you will be staying there for so many hours. So basically you think that you will stay there for 5 minutes, but you end up being there for 2 hours. They are directly or indirectly controlling your mind. Okay, that all comes under social analytics, or where we will be able to understand which kind of method a person would be interested in. I'll also give an example about how YouTube algorithm works. Okay, how AI algorithm, which is being used in Facebook, YouTube, Google, or maybe any other social platforms, will be, will be working fine. So we are taking up two examples as of now. So let me jump on to the examples, then we will come back here. So a simple set, okay. I think this might be giving you a proper understanding of how AI or ML is being built on a platform. So first of all, if you take an example of preparing coffee, okay, what do? We take raw inputs. Okay, what are all the raw inputs? We take stove, gas, all these things. Okay, including pot and other things as well. So what is the process of making tea or coffee? We I'm sorry, I don't know how to make coffee and all, but I can just read out what is there here. Okay, we add those tea, but tea bags or all the things into the pot. Okay, we will boil it for some time. Then what is the output? We will pour it into a cup. Okay, this is a very simple process, right? So if you just wonder, like, let me take this as a a clear understanding. So there are three stages. Okay, we will give these three just into we'll split these three just in this way. Okay. So first thing, we have an input, and in between input and output we have a process. Okay, we call this as a process, or you can call it as a system as well. Okay, because everything is happening here. So what is your input? In our case, input is all the requirements. Okay, what are all the requirements? Fire, okay, glass or whatever, or maybe, or tea packets and all these things, or milk if you're using milk. So all these are your inputs. And system, let's not talk about system for now, because I'm not good at making tea. Then we will talk about the last part, which is a cup of tea. Okay, now you might be understanding it in a very simple way, that we can have all these inputs, but it will not be directly convertible to a output, which is your tea. All you have to do is that you have to process it through a method. Okay, this method can be as simple as creating it with a as simple as making it automatic coffee dispenser machines, or as complex as doing it on a small stove. So the process can be anything. So let's not worry about the process. Let's concentrate on the input and output side of it. So if input, if anything, any parametric changes in the input will automatically change the output if your system is constant. So let me tell you, if you're boiling your coffee for 5 minutes, okay, if you're giving one packet of sugar, one packet of tea powder, one packet of milk and all the things, and if you're adding it to that system, at the end, the milk or whatever the tea or whatever coffee you're producing is having certain taste. If you're slightly increasing or changing the parametric values of your input, let's say you have added 2 packets of sugar, then it will have large impact on your output. So how much large impact on the output you have is being decided by the system. Because if you're boiling it for 5 minutes, okay, if you're adding two sugar packets, then it might not have that much effect. But if you're boiling it for 2 minutes only, but if you're adding 2 packets of sugar, it might have more effect. Now you probably understand all these are somewhere interconnected to each other. Okay, input is being connected to output based on the method you're applying on the process. So here, this is the whole concept of creating a machine learning method. So what we will do in this case is that we will take our input, okay, we will put our process, we will give our output. But conventionally, in our day-to-day mathematics, for example, what happens in mathematics? 2 plus 2. Okay, if somebody is telling me 2 plus 2, then I'll say it is 4. So here also there is a method of giving input and producing output is happening. Okay, what we are doing in this case, we are giving 2 inputs here and we are getting an output called as 4. Now you might be asking me what is happening here. Let's say if I know what is happening here, that is what is our conventional mathematics. Okay, what happens in our exam? What they will ask us? They will say that, tell me what is the 2 plus 2. Then we will say 4. So this is your answer. This is your question. But in machine learning, this is not how it goes. It goes like this. Okay, they will give you 2 and 2. They will also give you 4. They will ask you for the relationship. Okay, this could be relationship. I might not be true every time, because this might not be the relationship between 2, then I'll get 4. The relationship could be 2 into 2 can also be 4, right? The answer could also be this one. So in understanding it in a simple way, if you just, yeah. So to put it in a simple terms, 2 plus 2 equals to 4 is our conventional way of understanding things. Okay. But giving 2 and also giving 4 and asking you to predict the relationship between them as inputs is what known as machine learning. So in our case, if I am giving a number of tea bags, okay, let's say number of tea bags equal to 2, number of sugar bags equal to 2, number of milk packets equal to 1. And if you're able to produce the output, which I am calling it as, let's say I'm calling, the taste of milk or coffee or whatever the produced output, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm calling it as 5. Okay, if I'm creating 2 to 1 as my input value, I'm getting output as 5. If I'm creating 3 to 1, let's say I'm getting the value 7. If I'm creating it as 4, 1, 1, let's say I'm getting a value of 9. So which one do you prefer basically? Based on your input, if you're putting 4 bags of tea packet and 1 pack of sugar and 1 pack of milk, is creating a very much good, the better coffee when compared to the other parameters. Okay, so what the machine learning model will do is it will take only inputs and it will take only outputs, and it will try to map the relation between its own inputs. So now you might be seeing that if it is 4, then I can even create the same thing in the double fashion. So what I can do, I can take 8 packs of tea powder and 4 packs of sugar and 2 packs of water. Still it is going to produce me the same output, which is 9, right? So the reason being, I have got to know that what should be the relation between all these 3 things such that I'll be getting the best coffee out. I'm not at all talking about what is the process, how many hours I should boil it for, how many number of times I should do it for. So I'm only concentrating on my input and output method. Now I'll give you a real time and industrial application of this. So just hold on for a second. Yeah, actually our meeting might be ending up for 5 more, in 5 more minutes. We will continue it by taking 10 minutes of break. Okay. So it's like we will end up this meeting by 11:40. We will take break for 10 minutes, okay, which is for 11:50. Then we'll start again for 11:50, where we will be talking about some of the other applications of industrial usages. Okay, so we already have 5 more minutes. Let me complete this part, the minimalistic example which I'm talking about as of now. Then I will take an industrial application after this session gets over, and we will start it after 10 minutes. Okay, if you have any other people, your friends or anybody else, let them also join for the second schedule. The reason being, still they'll be able to understand it, because I'm taking examples in such a way that it will be physically viable. It will be, they are day to day, they are looking at it every day. So let me take up the same example in a minute into the mathematical form, such that you probably may not get confused with the real applications and the conventional way of doing it. So let us put everything in mathematics here. Okay, so I have 3 parameters here. Okay, let me use the technical terms for this one, such that you will also understand, maybe in future if you're reading an article, or maybe if you're going through any research paper or anything, you will not get confused with what I am telling you and what you're reading there. So as I said that we have all these parameters. Okay, I'll let you know with the proper terminology here. So if you're taking input, so basically this is known as input in our general terms, right? But in machine learning terms, it is known as features. Okay, we call it as feature. It's not input, it is feature. Okay, so we call this as the system, right? Or process, which I have just told you. Okay, so this is process or system. We will call it a system in our general day-to-day time terms. But in machine learning terms, this is known as model. Okay, next time when you hear what is model, you will understand, yes, this is called as model. Then the output, which we call it as output in our general terms, but output is actually known as label. Okay. So I'll give you a proper data, okay, which is actually known as feature, which is actually known as label. You must let me know, okay, because in that way I can make sure that you understood concepts clearly. Okay, so yeah, as I said that we will be ending this up in a minute. Then let me repeat it again. So we will join in exactly after 10 minutes after this session ends, which is 11:50. Okay. So if you have any questions, we will take up those questions in the later session, which is second session. Then we will end this thing up by providing you digital certificates and everything. So I think you understood the terminologies here. Okay. Inputs or features, the system is model, the label is output. Okay. So in our case, what is the feature? Feature is nothing but tea bags. Okay. Whatever the inputs which we are talking about are all comes under features. Okay. The system is that how many number of hours you are boiling it out. What is the temperature? Okay. What kind of flame you are creating? Okay. Whether that flame is created using LPG gas or not, because these are all parameters depends on the taste of the coffee. Okay. If your coffee is tasty, then there are so many parameters they must follow. Okay. Then we will get the proper model. And when you got the exclusively better model, you would not want to change any features. Okay. You would not want to change anything else. So thank you. Thanks for being here. We will come back exactly by 11:50. It's almost done here. We will continue further. Thank you.